It's not even the 13th. Heck, it's not even March and free agency is already starting. What's up, fans? So, breaking news. This literally happened about an hour ago. The Baltimore Ravens are trading Joe Flacco to the Denver Broncos. Now, you might be asking yourself, hey, Doug, you're a Dolphins fan. And this is it's a Dolphins channel, but I do talk about other NFL stuff on here. So why in the Fraggle Rock are you talking about Joe Flacco going to the Broncos? I'll get to that in a second, but let me just get to the actual trade. Let me get to some of the notes and news of the trade, and then I'll get to why I'm talking about it on this channel. The Baltimore Ravens are trading Joe Flacco to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos have 2 fourth-round picks. One of them they got for Michael Thomas, so they're not sending that one to the Baltimore. They are sending their pick to Baltimore. It's a higher pick because the one they got is from the Texans, and the Texans did better than the Broncos. Now, with Joe Flacco's contract, this year he's due $18.5 million. Next year he's due $20.25 million, and the year after he's due $24.25 million. So you look at that and you're like, Jesus, that's a lot of money. The average of what he's making in those 3 years is about $21 million, and it's ranked 12th quarterback wise. Now, Joe Flacco right now, I'd put him around that area of talent, top 15, top 12 in the league. But the thing, and I think this is why Denver jumped on him, is because none of those 3 contracts are guaranteed. Not one of them. So after this year, if they are like, hey, we're done, we're gonna get rid of you, no dead money, nothing, not having to deal with anything, they just trade his ass. Now that the Denver Broncos have traded for Joe Flacco, a lot of you guys would be like, hey, you had that video where you talked about, the quarterback situations in the NFL. And I did talk about Case Keenum, and I did talk about how the Denver Broncos need to address that situation, and I did talk about how I see that they're still going to draft a quarterback. So you might be asking me, hey, Doug, they just traded for Joe Flacco. They ain't drafting a quarterback now. That's going to help the Dolphins to get Kyler Murray. I'll talk about that in a second. But it'll help the Dolphins get the quarterback they want, because now that's one of the teams in the top 12 before the Dolphins that don't need a quarterback anymore. Because if you look at last year, the Browns traded for Tyrod Taylor and with the #1 pick drafted Baker Mayfield. The Jets signed McCown and Teddy Bridgewater. They signed 2 quarterbacks, and they drafted Sam Darnold. And the Arizona Cardinals signed Sam Bradford, and they still drafted Josh Rosen. They even traded up to draft Josh Rosen. So just because the Broncos traded for Joe Flacco, it doesn't mean that they're not going to take a quarterback, especially because his contract isn't guaranteed. The last 3 years and these next 3 years aren't guaranteed, so that means that he is very easily pushed out. So I honestly think they will still draft a quarterback in the first round in this draft. Will it be the quarterback from Ohio State, Hoskins? Will it be Kyler Murray? I don't know, but I know a lot of Dolphin fans want Kyler Murray to go to the Dolphins at 13. And I know a lot of Dolphin fans would want us to trade up to get Kyler Murray because he'll be the next best thing and he will help this team become something better. So after Kyler Murray came out yesterday or the day before and said, I'm training for the draft, I'm training for the combine, I'm putting all my work into all of this, I'm football 100%. Everyone was like, okay, we're all back on the Kyler Murray train. All these sports analysts and ESPNers and NFL networkers, and they want, they're like, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's where it's at. Let's jump back on Kyler Murray, because after that horrible interview, he's now saying that. So why I'm talking about this now, going off the Flacco trade, is because the Broncos are still going to take a quarterback. Just because the Cardinals have Josh Rosen, I can see them taking Kyler Murray. So for the Dolphins at 13 to try to get Kyler Murray, they're going to have to trade up. And they have to pray to God that the Cardinals don't take Kyler Murray. Now, if you looked at what happened with the Jets, right, last year. They traded up to number 3. They wanted Baker Mayfield. They thought they were getting Baker Mayfield. They thought that the Browns were going to take Saquon Barkley. They thought that the Giants were going to take Sam Darnold, or even if the Giants didn't take Sam Darnold, they were going to take somebody else, and then they were going to get Baker Mayfield, and all of a sudden, monkey wrench. So for the Dolphins to trade up to try to get Kyler Murray early would be dumb, because you don't know what the Cardinals are going to do, and to go from 13-1, you're mortgaging the whole future of the team. So I wouldn't do it. I'd sit pat. I'd take a defensive or offensive lineman. I'd take a quarterback in the second round, and I'd run with that. The more I'm watching tape, I'm really liking Tua. His injury worries me, but not enough to not want to take him. But I'm not tanking for him. But I'm not. I'll take a quarterback in the second round. I want to build up this offense and defensive line. That's my mentality on it. Even with Hoskins, I've been watching tape on him, and I'm noticing some flaws. He has a very long throwing motion, but a quick release, and he's inaccurate at critical points. But again, I'm going to be doing videos on. I'm going to break down prospects. We're at free agency. Then after free agency, you're going to start getting your prospects videos for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, offensive line, defensive line, corners, safeties. I'm top 5 of each. I'm going to break down, film study on them. But just to reiterate, Denver Broncos traded for Joe Flacco. They're sending a 4th. Don't think that he's not going to, the Broncos aren't going to draft a quarterback. Like I said, I named about 4 teams that have picked up quarterback and still drafted one. Joe Flacco is literally the prime, example of getting a quarterback but still drafting one. So I can honestly see the Broncos drafting a quarterback. And again, for the Dolphins to try to get Kyler Murray, because it seems like everyone's high on it, they're going to have to trade up, and you're giving away a lot to trade up. And I don't think the Dolphins should do that, but we'll see what happens. But comment below, let me know what you guys think about the Flacco trade. Case Keenum's now potentially out there. Case Keenum could be a trade target, or they said that they're going to try to trade him or cut his contract down. I think he's due like $9 million this year. And if they can't, they're just going to release him. So that's another quarterback in the pool. But I still think Foles and Bridgewater are the top 2 quarterbacks in free agency right now. Again, I'm going to be making that video real soon. But like I said, comment below. Let me know what you think about this move. And I'm going to get to one of your guys' comments right now. Before I get to your guys' comment, I just want to say in my last video, I've never felt so good about being told I smell like fish. So many of you guys have commented you smell like fish, which means you literally have watched the whole entire 18 to 19 minute video. And you have no idea how much I appreciate that. A lot of you guys were even telling me, make your videos longer. I watch them, I'm listening to them when I'm doing stuff, like all that stuff. So it really meant a lot to me to be told I smell like fish, because that means you watched it till about a minute left in the video. So I greatly appreciate that. But let's get to your comment. And this one comes from Francis. And he says to me, you forgot Juwan James. Would you re-sign him? And you smell like fish. Again, you told me I smell like fish, which means you watched it to the end. Juwan James, I think I briefly talked about it. If I didn't, I've wholeheartedly apologized, because a lot of you guys were like, what about Juwan James? Juwan James is a free agent. He's going to get like $9 million or maybe more. He's going to want to test the waters. I did talk about it in a previous video, because I said that he came out with an Instagram post talking about, now that Adam Gase isn't here, it seems more likely that I'm going to get signed and I'm going to stay with the Dolphins, because Adam Gase was with offensive linemen. He didn't care. So with Juwan James, I would like to keep him and I would like to bring him back, but I'm not breaking the bank for a right tackle that we could easily draft. You know what I'm saying? We could draft a right tackle in the 3rd round. First round, go D lineman, try to get a defensive tackle, a great edge rusher. Second round, go quarterback, try to get Greer or Locke. 3rd round, pick up a right tackle or a guard. You know what I'm saying? 4th round, wide receiver. I'm not saying that's the way I'm going to do it. Again, I haven't even really given you guys the videos on prospects and positions of where I draft them. But that's my mentality on Juwan James. I would like to re-sign him. I'd offer him a contract for about maybe $8 to $9 million a year. But if he can, in the open market, get about 11 to 12 or 10 to 11, then I'm going to be like, thank you. But, we'll draft somebody. we'll draft someone for cheap. But Francis, I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered a lot of your guys' questions that you were asking about. I forgot John James. I said Joanne, but my mouth didn't want to work, so it sounded like John James. Joanne James. And a lot of you guys were commenting that I forgot about him. So there you go. But thank you. Be sure to comment. I love to read your guys' comments. Like I said, comment about this. If you're a Ravens fan, comment. Let me know what you think about getting rid of Joe Flacco. You guys have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson played really well last year. If you're a Broncos fan, let me know what you think. Joe Flacco's your stopgap. Again, the Broncos are going to draft a quarterback. Joe Flacco's your stopgap. He's not the future. He did have one of the most impressive and his career-defining plays against you guys with that touchdown pass, but he is not. He's a stopgap. But be sure to follow me on Twitter. As soon as this happened, I retweeted it, and then I was like, crap, I gotta hurry up and make a video for you guys. So I'm going to be doing this with all of free agency. Obviously, I'm going to be focusing on the Dolphins. But if big stuff happens, people go to certain teams, I'm going to make a video on it. So if you're not only a Dolphins fan, you're an NFL fan, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But I'll tell you that in 2 seconds. Be sure to go check out the Bit Boys. You're getting 2 Resident Evils this week. We're almost done with Plague Night. Then we start playing Spectre Night. If you like video games, go over, check that out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. It would mean the world to me. Give this video a thumbs up, because in about a month, free agency starts, which means this month period, stuff like this is going to happen. Now, the trade isn't definite and the trade isn't finalized, but stuff like this is going to start happening where it's in the works, meaning, here it is. As soon as the 13th happens, it's going to happen. And then there's that few days period before the free agency period where no tampering can happen. So a lot of deals start happening then. So the train is moving with this off season. So give this video a thumbs up because you like this type of stuff, because you're excited for free agency. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. So today I was planning on making, I'm going to do a Brian Flores video. I already did his introduction, but I'm going to do what he needs to get done. So that video is going to come out tomorrow. And then Saturday, I'm going to have a video out about who I would target in free agency. So I got a lot of stuff planned, and I got my prospects videos. And then when free agency starts, I got those videos. You got OTAs, you got training camp. Subscribe. If you're not subscribed already and you're a football fan, especially if you're a Dolphins fan, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Share the channel. Let's try to grow this sucker up there. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow with my what Brian Flores needs to accomplish with this team. But like usual, stay classy. I'm going to give you a phrase to tell me that you got all the way to the end. And that one is, Dolphins fly high, baby. You got to put the baby in there. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.